Easy parking with Easy Trip, now available at Dundrum Town Centre. So you can now use your toll tags to park in our car parks. Simply register at easytrip.ie/parking. Easy parking with Easy Trip. Dundrum, where more happens.
Welcome to the Empowerment Hour podcast, your digital classroom where individuals across all ages, backgrounds, and career levels tune in to get their weekly dose of inspiration and motivation. It's where passion and purpose intersect. I am your host, Nancy-Ruffin, the self-proclaimed Latina Oprah and your very own personal success coach. My goal is to help you discover your purpose and take inspired action so that you create a life where you feel fulfilled and empowered. So if you're ready to start living on purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. What's going on, beautiful people? It's your girl, Nancy Ruffin, and you are tuned in to another episode of the Empowerment Hour. Thank you for tuning in for yet another week. You guys are consistent in your love and support, and I am just grateful. I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. I hope that you were able to do some of the things that you wanted to do, whether that was spend time with family, go out with friends, or just kind of sit back and stay home and enjoy this beautiful, cool, fall-like weather that we are having. Because yes, sadly, summer is officially over and the fall has greeted us with some really nice weather. I'm liking the coolness. Unfortunately for us, I don't feel like we had that much of a summer. Our summer sucked. I didn't get to do much because I feel like it was always raining or just super, super hot and humid. And I don't know. I did not feel this summer in New York City this year. And so I am pleasantly excited, so you will, for the fall season to arrive. I'm ready for the sweaters. I'm ready for boots. I'm ready for the nice leather jackets. Like, I am definitely ready, I guess, when it comes to attire, right? And fashion-wise, I'm ready for the fall. But I just hope that you were able to kind of just do whatever it is that you wanted to do this weekend. We spend so much time, during the week working and hustling and grinding. And, for me, I always try to reserve my weekends for my family or to do the things, solely for myself. Like, I try as best as I can to set boundaries. So I will work my butt off Monday through Friday. But then when the weekend comes, unless I have an event or a special occasion or something, I really just like to just chill. And the weekend is my time. And I know that a lot of us who are on our grind and have our side hustles, we feel like we need to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I will tell you that when I first decided that I wanted to pursue like this side thing, that was exactly what I did. I worked all the time. I wouldn't sleep. I would work Monday through Friday up until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Then I'd have to be up by 5 a.m. the next day to head, to my regular job, then come home and take care of the kids and do homework and bathe them and feed them and all of that. And I was doing that 7 days a week. And it's exhausting. And I realized that I just could not continue to burn myself out that way. And not only was I feeling burnt out, that I was also neglecting my family, and the reason that I go so hard is because I want to provide, better opportunities and to provide a better life for my family, but not at the expense of the quality time that they need. And so I probably did that for about a year. And then I realized I couldn't continue that way. And I set boundaries. And so now my weekends are my weekends, and I don't do business on the weekends. So I won't do emails. I won't answer emails. I don't do business calls, conference calls, or at least I try not to. If there's no other alternative, and if the weekend is the only time that I can do a phone call, then so be it. But that is the exception, not the rule. So if that happens maybe once every few months, then I'm okay with it. But like overall, I try not to conduct any business on the weekends because I still need a life. And I can't commit my entire life to working. I wholeheartedly believe that if I give my all Monday through Friday and I stay focused and committed and consistent, things will happen the way that they're supposed to, right? It's all about timing, not my timing, God's timing. So it doesn't matter if I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Things are not going to happen for me until God moves the pieces and says, this is going to be my time. But I still understand that I need to do the work, which is why I focus Monday through Friday. So if you're like me, if you're someone who works a regular job, but, you're also committed to pursuing your passions, after your day job is over, make sure that you set those boundaries for yourself. Make sure that you are not killing yourself trying to make things happen, because you can't rush the process. So no matter if you put in 5, 10, 15, 40 hours into your side hustle, it's not going to speed up your time, right? Your time is your time. The thing that you want to do, though, is make sure that you are prepared and that you're ready. Right? So that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to work more, but the time that you do spend working, make sure that you are doing quality work, that the work that you're putting in is directly impacting where you want to be. So for me, I guess this weekend I actually was working because I was covering the Urbanworld Film Festival that started on Wednesday, and it went through Sunday. So it was September 19th through September 23rd. And really what it is a festival that showcases, filmmakers that are Black, Latino, Asian American, basically anyone who is making films who is not white, right? Or who is not what we traditionally see in Hollywood. And so the Urbanworld Film Festival, which was founded 22 years ago, really highlights the incredible films that are created by people of color. Not only are they created by people of color, but they star people of color, and they put a focused lens on our stories. And what we started to see, though, in Hollywood is that they are now starting to see what we have always known to be true, that our stories matter. And so I covered opening night, which was which was Wednesday, September 19th. And the spotlight screening that evening was the New York City premiere of Night School, starring Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. And guys, I will tell you, first of all, this was the first red carpet event that I attended that I was covering as a member of the press. So I have attended other red carpet events as a guest, and just kind of walking through and not really having to work. This was the first one I attended where I was working as a member of the press. And I will tell you that it was a media frenzy. It was bananas. I didn't know what to expect because it was my first time. But what I realized is that you really have to be almost like a vulture in order to get the interview, because there are just so many people there. And then there's such a limited amount of time that you get to speak, to the stars. And if it's one of the, main stars like Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, their people are rushing them through. And so I will say that it was really difficult to get a word in edgewise With Kevin, we had to really do like one group question. With Tiffany, I was able to get one question in, which was great. I asked her if she had one piece of advice, to give the youth of today, what would it be? And she basically said, to believe in yourself and to stay focused and to not give up, or something to that effect. And if I can get the clip on here, I will, so that you guys can hear in your own words. But if I can, you can always head over to my YouTube channel. The visual, the video is there. But it was crazy. Kevin Hart was super cool. I ended up, I had the opportunity to actually chat with Fat Joe. I spoke with the film's director, Malcolm D. Lee. I also spoke with the producer, Will Packer. And I would say that those two probably gave me the best interview. I was able to talk with them the longest. And I didn't realize, though, that the director had directed some of my favorite movies. Like, he directed The Best Man. He directed Girls Trip. He has a host of other films under his belt, but these were two that I absolutely, love. Girls Trip was so funny that they're doing a part 2 now. And so it was just really cool to be there. When I think about all of the other members of the press that were there with me, there was such a range of people, age groups. And I will tell you that at first I was super nervous. I felt kind of inadequate because, of course, this was my first time, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have a professional videographer like some of the other outlets had. So it was just really me with my iPhone. I purchased a mic that I was able to attach, to my phone. And I had almost what was like a selfie stick to record, the videos. And, to the left of me, to the right of me were, these media personalities, with their video cameras, looking real official with their official microphones. And so it was really easy for me to feel out of place, to feel as if I didn't belong there. And if I would have allowed my inner voice to take over my emotions and what I was feeling, that's exactly what would have been running through my mind. But as soon as I started to feel those emotions, I cut them. And I told myself, you belong here as much as any of these other people with their professional equipment. So it's not what you have, it's how you conduct yourself, it's how you present yourself, it's how you speak to the celebrities as they come down the press line. It's about how confident you are in your abilities to stand here and do this job. And that was exactly what I told myself. And so when the celebrities started coming through, that was exactly how I acted. I owned my space and I belonged. And that was exactly what I was exhibiting. And I was able to hold my own against all of these other people who have been doing this for years. There was this one young woman who was standing right next to me, who was 23 years old. And talk about feeling inadequate, right? Here I am, a 41-year-old woman, pretty much just starting this dream of mine of being a media journalist, right, so to speak, being out there in the media and conducting interviews and all of these dreams that I didn't have a year ago, but God is purposeful, right? And he continues to put these new dreams in my heart. And so as long as he puts them there, I'm going to chase them wholeheartedly. But anyway, I digress. The point that I'm trying to make is here I am, 41 years old, just starting out. Right next to me is a 23-year-old who has already been doing this. She's interviewed celebrities like Tory Lanez. She works for the Source magazine. She's interviewed a number of celebrities. I can't think from the top of my head right now. But this is someone who had, of course, like way more experience in this arena than I did. But I will tell you that I got some great interviews, right? And when I think about when I attended Day 4 of Urbanworld Film Festival, which was on Saturday, September 22nd, I was the only member of the press who got the opportunity to interview Amanda Sternberg, who is the star of the highly anticipated film The Hate U Give, which premieres, it hits theaters on October 19th. I was the only one that got that interview, and I could sense all around me they were upset. I could feel the hate. I could feel the eyes boring on my back. And here were all of these other people with their professional cameras and looking, 100%. They were mad official. Yet here I was with my little selfie stick, my iPhone, and my microphone attachment, and her publicist or her whoever her person was brought her directly to me. And I was the one that got the interview. And so that for me was confirmation that I absolutely do belong. I asked an excellent question that was directly related to the film. She was incredibly humble, just a breath of fresh air when you're navigating this space of celebrities and Hollywood and fame. I don't know if it's because she's still really young. She's 19 years old, but she's very grounded and just very, very humble. There was no air about her at all. And after watching the film, The Hate U Give, because it was also the screening of the movie on Saturday and I was able to watch it, she gave an incredible performance in the film. And even after, when they had the Q&A that was moderated by Ava DuVernay, and for those of you who may not be familiar with her, but she is the director that directed the movie Selma. She's also the woman behind the OWN network show Queen Sugar. She's also now directing the Central Park 5, which is based on the 5 Black men who were found guilty for the rape of the Central Park jogger, who we later found out, or they later got acquitted because they were incorrectly convicted. So she's telling their story. But in any case, during the Q&A, when, Amanda was speaking, she's just a very smart, articulate woman, at such a young age, to just understand the world around her, to understand her role that she plays in this world, the way that she uses her platform to be very vocal about certain injustices. She is an advocate, for equal representation in Hollywood, just a phenomenal young woman. But the fact that I was the one that got that interview, it's like, hell yes. If I ever doubted myself, that was the moment that I let it go. Because a lot of times what we do is we talk ourselves out of our own greatness, right? Because we know we can do something, but then we let those insecurities creep up. We let that inner voice in our heads really get to us, and we start to believe the lies that we tell ourselves. And then as a result of that, we don't pursue the things that we love. We don't pursue the dreams that God has put in our hearts, or the things that we are passionate about, or the very thing that God has created us to do. So wherever you are in your own journey, if you have that inner critic in your mind, and you have that inner voice that tries to creep up on you and tell you that you cannot do something, that you are not enough, that you are inadequate, that you do not belong, you need to hush that voice as soon as it starts to speak. You have to reclaim your power. You have to reclaim the gifts that God has endowed in you, and understand that all of that negative talk is an absolute lie. Now, the only way that you give life to that is if you give into it and if you buy into it. So you have to cut it as soon as it starts. But I will say that one thing that all of this has shown me is that I do need to invest in some proper equipment, because the quality is not the same on an iPhone. It's not the same with my little, mic attachment that I bought. But for my first time, it worked. It showed me that I can hold my own. It showed me that I absolutely can do this, that I damn well am on my way to being that next or the first Nancy Ruffin, right? The AKA Latina Oprah, as I call myself. I am creating the opportunities for myself that I want. I see myself being in a certain position, and I can't sit back and wait for someone to give me the opportunities, right? The reality is that I am getting older, and though I don't let my age stop me, I understand, though, that I'm not getting any younger. So I can't just sit back and wait for someone to give me an opportunity. I have to go out there and create my opportunities. And so my hope is that the more I work and the more committed I am and the better I get at the work that I'm doing, that I will be able to then pitch myself, to a network or to a studio and create the show that I want for myself. Like, I am not under the illusion that someone is just going to discover me and find me and say, wow, you're the next best thing since sliced bread, right? I'm not that delusional. I understand that the only way that is going to happen is that I have to put in the work. I have to show people what I am capable of doing, and then go out there and hustle and create what I want for myself and show people why the world needs the Nancy Ruffin Show, why the world needs to see me, needs to hear me, how I am inspiring, empowering, motivating other women to follow their dreams. And the reason that I can do that is because I'm the living, walking, breathing representation of that. I am not someone who has been given opportunities. I created this podcast on my own. I spoke with a gentleman this past weekend, another member of the press, and he was like, oh, well, who do you do your podcast with? And I'm like, it's me, like by myself. I do it all. I'm the host. I'm the producer. I'm the content creator. I'm the editor. I do it all because I can't sit back and wait for someone to do it for me. And so that's the problem with so many people nowadays, that everyone is waiting on someone else, waiting for an opportunity, waiting to do something. And the more you wait, the more time you're losing. And time waits for no one. The only time we have is this moment right now. I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And yesterday's already gone, so I can't even go back and change what happened yesterday. All I have is this moment, and so I'm only focused on the right now and what I do right now and how I invest my time right now. So there's no waiting, there's no hoping. I do pray, because I am a woman of God, and I do believe that God is orchestrating my steps and He is connecting me to the right opportunities. He is putting the right people in my path. He is opening the right doors. He's closing the right doors for me as well. So making sure that I don't deviate from where I'm supposed to be going, But none of that would be possible if I wasn't out here doing the work. And no one can do the work for me. Only I can do that. And so the same goes for you. No one can do the work for you. And so wherever you are on your journey, be patient with yourself. Understand that, yes, life is short, but you do have time. But you can't spend all of your time waiting. You have to make the most of this moment now. And so I'm going to leave you guys, with this. Just go for what you want. Invest in yourself. If you believe in the work that you're doing, if you're passionate about what you're doing, if you love what you're doing, don't give up on yourself. Don't let those dreams die just because it gets hard, just because you struggle, just because you hit a roadblock and you may not know how you're going to overcome that. Step away from it for a moment. Allow yourself to get clear or to gain some clarity on the situation, but don't give up. Those obstacles, those challenges, those struggles, they're all tests to see how bad you really want it. And those of us who really want it, don't let those things stop us. We figure out a way to navigate through those challenges and through those barriers, and we figure out a way to make it happen. The people who don't succeed are the ones who allow different things to stop them from getting to where they want to be. So if something gets in your way and you allow that thing to render you immobile, then you're not going to be successful, right? You have to find a way to push past that. And once you do, God is going to help you navigate through those waters, right? So with that being said, make sure you go out to the movie theaters October 19th. Check out The Hate You Give. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal movie. It is based or inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement. It's the story of a young boy who gets killed by an officer. He was unarmed. It's a lot of what we see on the news daily. You know, take your families to see this. After you see the movie, go home, talk about it. Let's all be agents of change. We are all responsible for one another, and the only way we're going to change the direction of this country is by being vocal about it, by standing up to injustices, and making sure that we head out to the polls come November for these midterm elections. Okay, you can't complain if you don't vote. So go and vote, make your voice heard, make an impact, make a change. Until next time, mi gente, this is the Empowerment Hour. I am Nancy Ruffin. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and go out there and crush some goals.